What's going on, everyone? I'm Tommy Sotomayor. Recently, there's been some videos and people have been wondering about my topic for those videos. The main one has been black women and their children. Myself and D.L. Hughley spoke about it, and I just want to elaborate on what I meant by it. And I want you guys to think about something. I said that black women, in general, do not care or love their children. Now I know what you're thinking. How dare you say that? Well, I'm going to say it because number one, it's a general statement. But number two, I'm going to lay down some things to make you guys think of why I would say that. I say that black women are the worst stewards of children. And I say this because of certain things. Number one of the biggest reasons why I say that black women are the worst stewards of children and they do not care for their children is because such a high number of them are had by dudes that the woman doesn't like. And she has all these children out of wedlock, and the majority of black children are born out of wedlock. The majority of black children are not in the homes with their fathers. We also know the stats prove that if you have a father in the home, you have a better chance. It leads to less jail populations. It leads to less drug usage. It leads to less children out of wedlock and teenage pregnancies. If we know these things are a fact, then why would a woman continue to have children and buck these odds? So number one, the fact that they would continue to have them out of wedlock. Number two, the fact that they would choose to have them by dudes that they say ain't shit. One of the biggest things a woman can do is pick a father for your children. That is the biggest thing you can do. No matter who you are, women, no matter if you have a child at 15 or 55, the man you have these kids with will determine a lot about how these children's lives are. And the best thing you can do is have a kid by a man who is worthy to be a father. If he's a dope dealer, gangbanger, why would you make him be a father? He was not made to be a father. He's not doing anything that will allow you to believe he is even close to trying to be a father. But black women, more than any other woman on planet Earth, does this. She will make any man a father. And most of the time, these men do not want to be fathers. So if you care for your children, why would you give your child a father who is not intelligent, not attentive, a drug dealer, criminal, or any of these things, especially a father who's not ready? Number three, financially. If you are not financially stable, we all know that raising kids in a household with finances leads to a better outcome than ones without. Black women, out of all the nationalities of women in America, choose to have children in the lowest times in which they have very little money, and they will have children by a man who himself has very little money. If this is the case, that an individual would have these children, like the women who are on Section 8, like the women who are in projects, they too are having more and more children. Instead of getting themselves ready to get out, instead of getting their finances together, instead of picking a man who can elevate their finances, they're continuing to have these children and relegate them to the same lifestyles that they themselves led to. So number three, if you are not financially ready, then you would not be having children. Black women look at me and say, how dare you say this about a black woman, about a black mother? These women do care about their children. Well, if you know you live in a bad neighborhood, why would you not only have a child, but children? A woman in Chicago had 5 sons. She lost all 5 to gun violence. She never moved. Another black woman in Chicago, she had a son who was shot while trying to protect other girls, and they raised money and told her, we'd like for you to move out of the neighborhood, and she said she would not. When you are a mother, the thing is, your children are supposed to come first. But with black mothers, their children do not come first. They don't care who they have them by. They don't care where they have them at. They don't care what financial situation they have them in. So I would believe that they don't care. The woman who lost all 5 of her children, the fact that she would not move, the fact that even moving was not an option for her, lets you know that it's not about the children. When you see these black women on television after their children have been murdered, how do they act? What do they change? What do they ask for? Remember, guys, you have to understand that there are more women right now looking to ban me than there are women in these neighborhoods looking to ban guns, drugs, or gangs. There are more women who are offended, black women, who are offended by a black man dating a white woman than they are offended by a black child being murdered needlessly in the streets. You never see black women marching for the deaths of their children. You never see black women saying enough is enough. So how can you love your children when you continue to have them at the rate that you have them, by the men that you have them by, in the situations that you have them in? It's very difficult for me to believe that you love your children, but you can sell that to someone who actually is willing to buy it. I'm not. I don't mean to offend anyone when I do my videos, but the numbers prove that I am correct. Now, does this mean every black woman dislikes her children, hates her children? No, it does not. But see, black women, one of the main things you would do if you loved your children would be to prevent them from going through what you went through. If you were called names as a child because of your skin color, you wouldn't call your children this. If you were called bitch, hoe, fast, and all these names, you wouldn't repeat these cycles. But the majority of black women will repeat the same cycles that they went through. That's not love. That's abuse. You shouldn't have to beat your kids to get a point across. How about schooling? If you know you live in a bad neighborhood, black women, with a bad school district, why would you send your children to this school? A normal person would think, I'm not doing this. But black women continue to send their kids to these schools, will spend more money on their hair than they will on their children's education, and then will ask these people who they believe don't care about them, i.e. white people in the system, to educate their children properly. How many black women do you know right now that go to PTA meetings consistently? Most teachers that I've spoken to will tell you there's a huge lack of black parents. How can you care for your kid when you don't care for their education? And mainly, the first education starts at home. Black women like to sell you that they are the most educated group in America. Let's just go with that and say it's true. Guess who's the least educated group in America? Black children. If the majority of black children are being raised by black women alone, would it make sense that black children are the least educated while their mothers are the most educated? Let me finish it with this. Imagine a man who was rich and his kids lived in squalor. How would you feel about that? How would you feel if a man had all the latest clothes and his kids were wearing tattered rags? That's how I feel about black women and the education of them versus the education of their children. So you cannot love your children if you refuse to put aside the things that you feel are important in order to take care of your children. You can't. The club should be out. The internet scene should be out. What you should only care about now is the welfare and the well-being of those children that you decided 100% by yourself, because the man didn't get a chance to tell you to take the morning after pill, to have an abortion. You decided to have a child unilaterally. So for all the people who wonder why I speak about black women this way, it's because I'm black, I have a black daughter, and my black daughters, plural, will go out one day and date your black sons. And you better hope that I'm teaching them right from wrong. Because if I don't, guess what they're going to do to your sons? I'm Tommy Sotomayor.